So I'm out on my 2025 DR-Z4S. This is the fourth ride I've done on it. I'm 6.2 miles into a full tank of gas. This is my second tank. So just getting out and putting some more miles on this. I want to get, hopefully try to get enough miles in it to get it up to the first oil change before I take it in the dirt. It's easier said than done, just because riding pavement to me is just absolutely horrendously boring. It's just not my thing. So what I want to talk about today is the price. So why is the price $89.99? And why did Suzuki take so long to announce the price? That I don't know. What I also don't understand is why Suzuki has staggered the price announcement at different countries at different times. So if a bike costs X number of dollars to produce, and then there's an expected X number of dollars or yen or whatever the currency is, expected profit margin, and then there's X number of dollars built in to the price to account for dealer profit margin, then that's what the price should be. So take that factor or that figure and do the currency conversion, and then that's what the price should be based on the Japanese yen. So I don't know why Suzuki has taken so long to announce the pricing for different markets. To me, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because if you figure out the price where the bike is built, build in a profit margin for the company that manufactures it, build in a profit margin for dealers, then take that and convert it. That's as simple as that. So X number of dollars, X number of whatever the currency is for the given country that the bike's going to be sold in. So it makes it almost seem like Suzuki is, I don't know if you would call it playing a game, but having a different pricing structure depending on the market the bike is sold in. It seems kind of odd. So let's get back to the price itself. In the US, it's $89.99. Obviously, there's a reason why the price is what it is, and that's because it costs more to produce than the DR-Z400 or the DR-Z400 SM. Why does it cost more to produce? Well, there's a lot more components that drive up the cost. So you have this instrumentation. That's a totally new unit, totally new redesign. There's tooling that has to be built to build that. There's computer programming that has to be built into the ECM, as well as this, to translate electrical signals to display whatever it's displaying, namely the gear indicator. So there's a sensor somewhere in the engine that knows what gear the bike is in. There's the fuel gauge, so inside of the fuel tank there's a float sending unit, a lot like an automobile fuel tank. There's programming for the ABS. Buried down here under this radiator shroud and this edge of the tank, there's all kinds of components for ABS. I discussed that and showed it a little bit in one of my deep dive videos. I don't remember which episode it was. I think it was either number 3 or number 4. So that is a significant cost. Then I also mentioned in one of those videos that we have a big ABS junction block back above and behind the left side foot peg. That's what the rear brake master cylinder connects to. Then you have the ABS sensors, you have the ABS rings that are built into the brake rotor. that's a cost that did not exist on the old DR-Z. What else do we have? Upside down forks, those cost more. So let's go back to the DR-Z4S versus the SM. The SM has always had upside down forks. The SM always cost more. Part of that was probably due to the higher cost of the upside down forks, higher cost of the wider 17-inch rims that an SM bike would have, plus street tires. Those surely cost more than an off-road style tire. LED lighting costs more. This has a projector LED headlamp, LED turn signals, LED tail light. It's got a new master cylinder on it for the rear brake. I pointed that out in one of my deep dive discussion videos. Fuel injection system and the components that drive that. You have cable throttle assembly, which is similar, it looks identical to the old DR-Z. You've got cables that go down along the frame and then under the seat. I pointed out that unit in one of my deep dive discussion videos. Then there's a unit in there that takes that input from the throttle cables, converts it to an electrical signal to drive a motor, assuming it does that anyway. It drives a motor which controls the throttle body, the EFI system. So when you factor in all of those things, then sure, it's going to cost more. The body panels, they are a two-piece design. Actually, yeah, you have the colored piece and then you have the black piece. So on the left side of the bike is the little black triangle shaped piece that is held in place with some little clips at the top, plus the lock for the ignition key lock opens that up. And then you have the main side panel, the gray or the yellow piece. Or is it white? I don't remember. Plus you have a black plastic heat shield over the top of the exhaust. I pointed that out in one of my deep dive discussion videos. So there's cost to manufacture new components, plus the components themselves, there's more of them, like the side panels. There are multiple pieces, where on the old DR-Z you simply had a left side panel and a right side panel. On the 4S and 4SM you've got 4 pieces that make up the side panel. The black wheels, those cost more to manufacture than just a bare aluminum wheel, which is what the S had for quite a few years. I don't know how long the S has had a black wheel. The unit that the headlight attaches to in the instrumentation, that is a big formed plastic piece. So there was a big mold, injection molding or whatever, I don't know. So that's a pretty significant expense to fabricate the tooling to build that little plastic piece. And that's another thing that has driven up the cost, is just all the new tooling that had to be developed to build the bike. The frame is completely different. The only thing I've seen that's the same on the frame is basically the portion directly underneath the engine. And even there's very minor changes down there. By that I mean the only changes I have seen are very minute differences in spacing for the points where you would bolt a skid plate. So the existing DR-Z 400 skid plate won't work on the 4S. It'll fit, but it won't bolt up. I can make it fit by filing 2 of the holes just a little bit wider. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is just order one of those style skid plates, because for one, I don't want to ride this in the dirt until I get a skid plate on it, because it's just going to sandblast the underneath of the bike. I just finished up a weekend of riding probably close to 280 miles, check riding the course for the Dirty Face Dual Sport event in Washington, and there's some big, well, sizable rocks that you might hit, and multiple times, all 3 days of riding, you're riding along, and all of a sudden, you hear a big rock hit the skid plate. So I need protection down there before I get this bike out in the dirt. So back to the price. Then there's the tooling for this entirely new upper triple clamp handlebar mount. Then these are fat style handlebars, not cheap 7/8 steel handlebars with a welded crossbar. That's all new, so that's an additional cost. So a lot of the people that say, oh wow, that price is way too high, you just kind of have to look at all the different additional components that are in the bike, plus all the tooling that has to be developed to build all those new components, and all of that factors into the price. A manufacturer, when they build the price for whatever it is they decide to manufacture, the price for all that tooling is developed into the cost of what they are going to manufacture. So I guess in summarization, that's why the price is what it is. Do I think the bike is worth what they're charging? I would probably say so when you look at all of those different factors. Did I want to pay that much? Of course I didn't. I was hoping the price would be somewhere in the $8,000 to $8,500 range. But when I saw the price announced at $89.99, I really had second thoughts about buying the bike or not. Even though I had already made a deposit on it clear back in November of 2024. And the price was announced, I think it was announced on February 17th, at least in the US market.